so first off, obviously this is about Greek life, but we wanted to start by just having you state your name and position here at the university.
Yeah, so my
name
name's absolutely. My name's Dan Knorr, and I serve as the university's Director of External and Government Relations here in the President's office. So I've been in this position for about 8 years, and a couple different pieces of it. You know, I'm our main point of contact for anyone in the community. Regionally, I serve on some economic development boards on behalf of the university and the president, and I also work in Harrisburg on our state appropriations and any legislation that impacts the university or higher education.
So, first question, a little bit general, is what are your overall thoughts about Greek life at the university, what it was before compared to what it is now? And
I got to see it from a couple different vantage points. Obviously, I started here as an employee in this position in 2015. So for several years, I worked with the students in Greek life from this perspective. I was also in local government in Bloomsburg from 2006 through 2013. So I was on our town council for 2 years. I served 2 terms as mayor in Bloomsburg. So I interacted with Greek life really from the community standpoint and from the university standpoint. So I think, like anything, there were pros and cons, right? We did have, on the maybe more negative side, a lot of behavioral issues, underage drinking, partying, block party obviously has been a significant concern. And tragically, we've even had some student deaths over the years. But on the positive side, there were a lot of Greek life chapters and students who did a lot of community service, a lot of volunteer hours. They really made some events happen in the community. Community events would plug into chapters that they knew each and every year would come out and help them. So there was a lot of good that went along with the challenges.
So from being a student here at one time and now being faculty at the university, do you think that there's been like a huge difference between what it was then compared to now?
We obviously don't have an active fraternity and sorority life program now, so that's the biggest change. At Bloomsburg's campus. The university disaffiliated with the chapters. When I was a student from 2003 to 2007, the problems were probably worse. I mean, some of that was we just had more students. In 2010, we peaked at about 10,000 students at Bloomsburg. We're down, we're at about 7,700 or so now. So this is less students in the community. Another big change is we now require first and second year students to live on campus. So I think that by the time, as we go forward, by the time students move off campus, are probably a little more ready, to live in the community. So I think we've seen mostly changes for the better. And block party was a big challenge, but this sort of 3 years of COVID, as terrible as that was, one of the good things from our perspective was it sort of broke the chain of students expecting and knowing even how to plan this, massive, off-campus party. So.
Yeah. So going off of what you were saying with that we don't have Greek life here anymore, and there is a small population that is not associated with the school, how do you think that impacts the university as itself with having that off-campus, not associated with Bloomsburg community of Greek life?
Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge for us is we knew it wouldn't just go away, and that there are unaffiliated chapters. I think our president, when he made that decision a few years ago, we just saw that affiliation with the university as a privilege, and as something that really had to be earned. And, for a variety of reasons leading up to that decision, we really just felt that the Greek life system, hadn't earned that, and that it was not a positive thing for the university and for all of our students who are here who aren't in Greek life to have the university's name really associated with those chapters. It was a tough decision, but and we know that there are still some chapters that exist and maybe don't have the guidance, but regardless of whether students are in our chapter or not, we do still have, a full array of student support here for them, and we haven't gone away either, and we try to make sure that we're really monitoring what's happening off campus, and our student code of conduct still applies, whether students are on and off campus. So just because we don't have an affiliation with Greek life, those expectations we have of the standards of conduct off campus really are still in effect.
Yeah. So when the two were split of Greek life not being associated with the school anymore, was there any thought that there was going to be an off-campus like there is now, where chapters were going to keep going and figure it out? Or did you guys think that it was going to completely just kind of fizzle out and be done?
No, I think we knew it wouldn't be a magic, it wasn't a switch on the wall.
Yeah.
It wasn't something where chapters were just going to magically disappear. But we did think that we could no longer offer our support and our name and reputation to those chapters. So, we knew it wouldn't magically go away, for sure. So.
Yes.
And then that was shortly before COVID.
Yes.
And then the merger. So there's a lot
a
lot has happened since then. Yeah.
Earlier this year, in October, there was a survey sent out asking student thoughts about Greek life possibly coming back. And I know that when it was first announced that Greek life would no longer be at Bloomsburg, that there was talk about a 5-year period when it would definitely be off and then potentially coming back. So with those responses, do you think Greek life will ever be associated with the school again, or do you think it's something that will always be split from now on?
It's too soon to say. What we're doing is we're really spending this spring looking nationally at what we feel are best practices at other universities that have a Greek life system. How did the best around the country manage Greek life in a way that if we were to do that, we want to make sure we implement it in a better way going forward. So we're just spending a lot of time doing research and pulling together a set of recommendations for the president and his cabinet to consider. So that work is happening this spring. We will probably have some recommendations done by the summer, but then all the work is still ahead. He and cabinet really have to look at that and decide, are we going to go ahead and implement changes for the Bloomsburg campus? And then the implementation of those would probably be the next academic year, 2023-24. So nothing's been decided yet. We're still just looking at our options with it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's everything that we wanted to ask. We hit all the questions. Does that sound good?
I hope that was helpful.
That was very helpful.
Good.
It was also very informative.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sometimes I wish if I could just do this times 7,000, I could get the...
You could answer everyone's questions.
Yeah. So
that was
good.
great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think of anything else or follow-ups, you have my number and you know where to find me.
So, how has your Greek life experience changed from before and after the fraternities and sororities were kicked off in Bloomsburg?
It hasn't really changed too much. The only aspects where Greek life has changed was between recruitment, but anything besides that has stayed exactly the same because we still have ISC and IFC. So we just keep governing ourselves and making up rules and regulations between one another. I say things have gotten better because now that we can do it on our own, we don't have the university breathing down our necks.
Okay, so let's start off by talking about how Greek life has affected your college experience here at Bloomsburg.
I would say that it affected my experience very well. I think that I did gain all my best friends from there, and then some, like through other sororities and stuff. All my close friends, guys and girls, are all in Greek life. So I would say that I benefited really well from it.
Do you believe since Bloomsburg has been removed, it has become more dangerous compared to when it was on campus, even though it was taken off for danger purposes?
Yes and no. I feel like now the hazing has definitely slowed down tremendously. I don't really know any frats or sororities that haze as much anymore because they don't have the liability that they did with the school. The school could cover it up much more, like local chapters can't. I also feel like parties have gotten a lot more dangerous because of the reason they don't have an advisor or anyone protecting them in the long run.
Do you believe things are more dangerous without Greek life being on Bloomsburg?
In the beginning, I would have said so because we were always taught that if we do anything, the university will find out, and they, since they're the mediator, they can either take control of it, or it can go to the police. And now that we don't have the university as that middle ground, now anything that does happen goes straight to the police. But after experiencing being off campus, I feel like it's safer because when we were with the school, they would find out about anything, and then they would punish us in whatever way they saw fit. Now, as long as you don't do anything too bad, you're fine. Nothing's going to happen to you or your organization.
And with all of that being said, with the way that we know things are now, do you wish that Greek life could be associated with Bloomsburg again?
Personally, I think so. I think it would help out academically very much. I think that associating with the school would be a lot safer and protect the kids academically and just in general, party-wise and all that stuff.
Do you wish Greek life was still affiliated with Bloomsburg?
Yes. It looks better because one, you can put it on your resume, and then two, it's just a cool fact. I mean, I think every organization wants to have good standing with their university, but it is what it is. If they don't want us on campus, there's nothing we can do about that.